first I want to go through some of the naturalistic theories. First one would be the conspiracy theory that skeptics bring up. This theory alleges that the disciples stole Jesus's body, or that Jesus' body was stolen in the middle of the night, and that the early disciples, the early Christians, really lied about the resurrection appearances. Now, this theory may explain the first 3 facts we brought up, but not 4 and 5. So if we go back here, 4 and 5, Jesus' disciples became bold proclaimers of his resurrection. And then Paul and James converted after they believed in the resurrection. Why would anyone boldly proclaim a known lie, only to be persecuted by the Jews of their day and the Romans? That doesn't seem to add up. That doesn't seem to make sense. If you're lying about your claim and you know it's not true, are you really going to boldly proclaim this even to your death? Thirdly, Paul and James were skeptical and hostile of Jesus' followers and message. A conspiracy theory really doesn't explain their conversions. So for many of these reasons, the conspiracy theory really doesn't add up for explaining the known facts. The second theory that I want to bring up is advanced sometimes by Muslim apologists. It's called the swoon theory. Many serious academics don't take this seriously, but of course many Muslim apologists would. And that's a theory that Jesus didn't actually die, so there was no resurrection needed. Of course, right away we run into trouble with facts 1 and 2, that Jesus, his death is attested in many early Christian and non-Christian sources. Plus, we know the Romans were very good at killing people and making sure that they were dead. And so in certain cases, if the Roman guards or if the Roman executioners were not successful at killing the person and that person got away, those Roman soldiers and authorities could be taken to task themselves. They could face penalties and death even. So for many reasons, the swoon theory really doesn't add up. This one, the hallucination theory, has been more popular recently. So this one argues that the disciples of Jesus who claimed the resurrection were actually experiencing hallucinations. They weren't really experiencing the physical Jesus. Of course, this theory fails to explain the empty tomb of Jesus. What do you do with Jesus' empty tomb? Also, hallucinations are individual experiences. It's very unlikely that people would experience extremely similar hallucinations around the same time. Also, the hallucinations do nothing really to explain Paul's conversion to Christianity after he was a persecutor of the church, right? Or what convinced the skeptical brother of Jesus, James. Are you going to say that he also had a hallucination with Paul and with the other disciples? How many people had these experiences? So this is really far-fetched if you're going to claim all these people had hallucinations and that's what started this. And finally, you have one that's more recent, and it's perhaps not as mentioned in scholarly literature, but maybe online, that Jesus's followers doubled down on his resurrection because of their own cognitive dissonance. If you look at cults, maybe apocalyptic cults that talk about the end of the world is coming soon, and when they realize, oh my gosh, we got the date wrong, it didn't happen today, they have a habit of changing their story. But sometimes they'll double down. They'll double down on their claim that it's going to happen. It's just not happened like I first said. Now, this theory, again, doesn't explain the empty tomb or why Paul and James converted. Also, we would expect the disciples to reinterpret Jesus's words about being raised on the third day. If this was just a product of their own cognitive dissonance and they were doubling down, wouldn't they have tried to reinterpret Jesus? Maybe he meant not the third day, maybe he meant the third year or the 30th year. That's what we would expect if this was just from cognitive dissonance. So my conclusion from all of this really, is that the resurrection of Jesus Christ is by far the best explanation for the well-supported surrounding data that we know.
Our 1-hour webinars are monthly on the third Thursday, and are designed to equip you with historical, scientific, and philosophical reasons for believing that Christianity is true. Our webinars are free and are open to the public, so feel free to invite your friends. Go to ratiochristi.org/webinars. Most of our monthly webinars will feature a presenter from within Ratio Christi. However, we'd like to bring in special non-Ratio Christi presenters on a quarterly basis, so stay tuned for what those are going to be.